Transfer window ended on Friday and we're done for the summer in terms of any more transfer rumours or updates. And yeah, as it's convention, we are here to talk about the window. How do I rate it from a Bristol City perspective? What could we have done? What are the good things we've done? Where are some of the holes left in the squad? All of that good stuff. And we'll be talking about in this video. We'll talk about the incomings because that's the most exciting part of this video. And the first couple of incomings were Rob Dickie from QPR and Ross McCrory from Aberdeen. Obviously, a couple of players add bolstering to our defence. Rob Dickie, the centre-back, has generally been quite solid for us so far. Obviously got sent off against Birmingham, but generally been rather solid for us. We haven't seen Ross McCrory play yet because of the mysterious bacterial infection, which will keep him out until the new year, which is really frustrating. But generally, they look like two players who can definitely add something to the squad so far. And in two positions where we possibly needed a couple of reinforcements, with Hayden Wilson leaving the club to go to Derby later in the window, it seemed like it was made perfect sense to sign Ross McCrory. Ross McCrory obviously can play centre midfield and can play right back, centre back as well if needed. And Dickie played on the left-hand side of defence. He's looked a slight bit uncomfortable playing on the left-hand side of it. Gets the ball on his wrong side, if you will, on his weaker foot. Receives the ball on his left foot, which sometimes makes him a little bit prone to errors. But generally, looks like a reasonably solid pickup. Obviously, we paid $2 million for Ross McCrory to Aberdeen, potentially even a little bit more. Rob Dickie, we don't completely know, but we don't think it's a lot with QPR's kind of desperate situation, a little bit financially. So both of them look like rather decent pickups. Obviously, we're still yet to see what Ross McCrory can bring to the Bristol City squad. Now, the next one in was Hayden Roberts from Brighton, and he was picked up on a free transfer. We're not completely sure, but I think we didn't pay any compensation for him, and it looks like another really good pickup. He's so far in the league hasn't made a start, but in the little cameos he's come on, he looks like a really talented player. At Derby, he wasn't really the best at going forward, but at Bristol City, his technical quality is far superior to Cam Pring, and he looks like a far more viable and gifted player when he receives the ball. Instead of Cam Pring, who I think is absolutely brilliant, getting the ball and just driving on the pitch and hoping to beat people with his strength and pace, Hayden Roberts picks the balls out with his just general technical quality. So again, once again, looks like another very decent pickup and a very good understudy to Cam Pring. Well, if left back was a position where we needed a bit of an understudy, midfield was someone where we needed a bit of dynamism and quite desperately as well. Jason Knight was brought in from Derby County. A couple of bids were initially rejected from Derby, but after that we eventually paid and agreed a fee with Derby County. Kane Wilson went the other way for no transfer fee, but that reduced the fee we paid for Jason Knight. Eventually came about, I think, around 2.23 million, which again has shown so far to be a really, really good deal. At Derby, maybe not the best in terms of technical quality, but has shown to be a really dynamic, energy, just really, really good midfielder who will press for the full 90 minutes, and he fits into this Nigel Pearson system absolutely perfectly. And he complements Matty James, Joe Williams, whoever it is, Andy King, Cal Naismith in there, with his dynamism and energy really, really well. The last of the incomings was Taylor Garner-Hickman, who was brought in on a loan deal with an option to buy for reportedly £1.3 million from West Bromwich Albion. 21 years old, really young. He's been promising for West Brom in the last couple of years. Maybe just needed a bit of a shift in environment, and hopefully that can be provided here. Right back, right wing back, centre midfield, right wing. Can really play anywhere. And once again, that kind of, if he fits that centre midfield mould, then we probably need another centre midfielder in there. So again, really just kind of necessary buy, and looks like a fairly good deal from what we've seen and heard and read. And Nigel Pearson has confirmed that it was a good deal to kind of negotiate, and with his age and his kind of profile, fits once again into our model quite well. Now, the outgoings are pretty severe for some cases anyway. The Alex Scott sale is probably the biggest one out of all the departures from Ashton Gate. Obviously, £25 million is a huge sum of money for Bristol City, and he was sold, obviously subject to interest from a lot of clubs, Wolves, Bournemouth being notably the two massive ones being interested in Alex Scott. If you want to hear more about Alex Scott, then you can watch my video, which is on the channel. You can watch it there. The other kind of major-ish departures were Thomas Callas, Hanoa Masengo, Kane Wilson, Jada Silva, who all went out from the football club for not that much money. Kane Wilson, he was used in a way to lower the price tag for someone from Derby we wanted in Jason Knight. So it was kind of a no gain situation really, but it didn't really work out for him here at Ashton Gate. And once Ross McCrory came in, I think his fate was pretty much sealed. But in terms of departures, the major one obviously being Alex Scott for that sum of money. I think the major frustration in terms of Bristol City fans is that why wasn't that Alex Scott money reinvested back into the squad in so far in another position, in another couple of positions we probably still need addressing. That could be up top, maybe another centre midfielder, maybe another centre back, maybe even a senior goalkeeper as an understudy to Max O'Leary. It just feels like maybe if we hadn't internally put a wage restriction in, could have potentially used that Alex Scott money a little bit more than we did. Overall, the window's been pretty satisfactory. I think we've definitely addressed a few problems. I think we've recruited well in terms of age. 22, 21. Rob Dickie, little bit of experience, 27. Ross McCrory, 25. So it looks like we've kind of gone for that youngish mould. Obviously, Rob Dickie being the oldest one, but just 27. So obviously, we're still trying to go for that mould, despite some of the financial restrictions we've internally applied on ourselves. So I think the transfer window has been pretty satisfactory. I think we could have definitely used that Alex Scott money a little bit better. But once again, that was kind of due to the fact that we did an internal wage restriction on ourselves. And Nigel Pearson, obviously very frustrated with that Alex Scott situation and the way that he was not given the funds to kind of improve the squad. And that's a bit of a weird one, because generally when a club sells a massive asset for a lot of money, I'm going to take Coventry this season, for example, because it's the most recent one I can think of. Victor Gyökeres sold for 24 million to Sporting Lisbon. They sign a boatload of players to kind of replace him for reasonable chunks of money. I think Haji Wright was the biggest one, 7 million. So I think that's kind of the expectation with fan bases. Once you sell a massive player, you kind of use that money not only in that position where the player played, but in several different positions. And unfortunately, we haven't done that. So are we weaker off without Alex Scott? Obviously we are. But have we also done a little bit of recruitment beforehand, kind of address few areas of the squad where we possibly need a bit of reinforcements? Yeah, I think we did. Right back, once Kane Wilson leaves, Ross McCrory to come back in. Centre midfield, Jason Knight, Taylor Guard-Hateman's come in. Rob Dickie, another centre back. Possibly need another centre back in there. Quite honestly, we could still look at the free agent market, maybe an experienced one on a 1 or 2 year deal. That could still be on the cards. We don't know. So overall, the transfer window has been fairly positive. Definitely a few areas, as I've mentioned throughout this video, centre midfield, centre half, striker, goalkeeper potentially, where we could have used with a few more in terms of using that Alex Scott money, but generally pretty satisfactory. Well, in terms of a rating, it's a hard one to rate a transfer window, isn't it? Because there's a lot of moving parts. And despite, the losses of Alex Scott, Hanoa Masengo, where we could have got a little bit more money for him and we lost him on a free eventually, compensation was around $250,000. Thomas Callas left on a free. Jada Silva has been pretty decent for Coventry so far. Maybe we could have kept him. Honestly, we don't know. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of unknowns in the transfer window. In terms of an overall rating, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think we could have still done a little bit more. But my message is, right at the moment, just keep the squad, because we are looking like a fairly decent championship outfit. I think we're 8th in the championship table after 5 games. So there are still definite quality in there. I think we've got a good blend up top. And once Mehmeti and or Cornick starts firing properly, we will look like a threat up there. Once Toby Conway's back as well. In midfield, we have that dynamism of Jason Knight, who's a crucial part of that midfield. And then we have Matty James, Joe Williams, Cal Naismith, Andy King. We have that options there. At the centre-back positions, God help us if we get any more injuries or suspensions, because then we're in a lot of trouble. Where with Rob Atkinson being out for that long, right back, left back, we're fine as long as Max O'Leary doesn't get injured and we don't have to rely on Stefan Bajic. I think we'll be fine in the goalkeeping department as well. Once again, definitely could have been improvements within the transfer window in terms of areas we could have potentially looked at, but generally pretty satisfactory. Let me know your thoughts on the Bristol City transfer window so far. We've definitely improved, in my opinion. The overall squad, possibly. We've definitely lost a few assets as well. Masengo, Alex Scott, Jada Silva. Maybe players who we should have got a little bit more money for. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and we have internal financial restrictions and restraints we have to work within. And Nigel Pearson just said, get on with it. And that is the attitude we have to kind of embody as well. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on Bristol City's transfer window. What do you give it a rating in terms of 1 through 10? I'd give it a solid 6. I think that'd be pretty fair assessment of the window in terms of balancing incomings and outgoings. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to HTropics.we channel for more Bristol City content in the future. If you have enjoyed this one, hit like as well. Thank you guys very much for watching this transfer video roundup. We will be doing no more transfer reviews, hopefully, until January, unless we sign a free agent, that is. Yes, thank you guys very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.